just like, whoa, we got Jake. Who the hell's Jake?
This is Then You Ruined It, the podcast that will last until one of us makes it weird. Hope you have a short commute. So, I recently got a new phone, and as you do, when you get a new phone, you have to set everything up, and this is always fun. I always enjoy just like sitting down like, okay, I'm going to figure out how I'm going to set my icons, what I want my background image to be. It's like just a fun little thing to, set up a new thing that you're going to be staring at for 3-4 hours a day for the next 2 years, right? I'm not alone in this. Do you look forward to setting up a new phone?
I don't know if I look forward to setting it up because I have probably more anxiety because I want it to be as close to the old phone as possible. So it's not like, oh, I'm starting a whole new life. I can make my life what I want of it. And it's like, no, this needs to be the exact same thing as it was before. And if it's not, I'm going to freak. So no. I love tech and I love getting a new device, but then setting it up and like trying to make it like what I want it to be is stressful. But I get it.
I embrace each new change as a new chapter in my life. I know I will never have a new wife, but I will have a new phone, and I will make sure that it's as exciting as a new wife would be.
I know I'll never get rid of this wife that I have now, but I can have a new phone, and that's going to be good enough for me.
I will vicariously pretend that it means.
Okay, this is all healthy. Good. Move on.
Please never judge anything I do on a scale of whether or not it's healthy. That's not good for us. Me especially. Anyway, so part of setting up the new phone is picking the notification sound. I could have done the same notification sound as my last one, but my son inherited my last one, so that's now his notification sound. He didn't care. He wasn't going to change it, so I was stuck with it. And I now currently use this sound, and I hope it comes through well on the audio. You put it up to the microphone, and so that's what I hear every time I get a text or whatever. I think of it as a hillbilly getting a boner.
Which is exactly what I want to think of every time I get a notification.
Well, you're not a hillbilly. For me, it's like me getting a boner. So
I don't... Weird justifications for sounds. Okay. I was thinking hick or cowboy or
hick. Western,
but not your own boner.
You'd rather me think of a random cowboy's boner? No, I'm going to think of it on my own.
I don't think of boners. When I think of a sound for that, I thought, oh, that sounds like a video game. It sounds like a coin. Haha. That's fun.
Well, yes, there's plenty of those, but that one, there's this thing, boing! And anytime you get the boing, it's a boner. And when you play that on a banjo, it's a Hicks boner. Good thing I'm a hick, so that could be mine. Anyway, the reason I have this one is because I went through a bunch of others. I tried a lot. One I realized was too close to the work notification, so it made me feel like I was always getting work pings, and I didn't like that. Other ones were just like too long. I wanted something short. And then I had another one for a while, which was this one.
So,
that come through pretty good?
Yeah, it's like a click, but it kind of sounds like a shotgun cocking, but
it might not be coming through good, but it's the sound you play when you take a photo.
Okay.
It's the same click of that, which I really liked. It was crisp, it was clean, it was short, but it was very distinct. Like you want a noise that your ears will perk up when they hear it, and the click of a camera does that. That's why they still use that click, even though there's nothing clicking on our phones right now when we take a picture. You want to know why I don't use that anymore?
I mean, I find it annoying, so I know why I don't, but why you?
Okay. I was at work, in the bathroom. I was pooping. And someone who I'm pretty sure was the CEO, because it was one of those days where there are not a lot of people in the office. And I don't know why this is, but in our men's room, there's a handicap stall and a non-handicap stall. And for some reason, the seats are next to each other. Like, the one in the disabled handicap stall is not against the far wall. It's against the middle wall, so it's right next to the person. You are ankle to ankle with the person in the regular size stall next to you. And so you can see their shoes. And I'm pretty sure it was the CEO because they were nice shoes. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, just playing my little merge game. And then out of my butt comes just like this big explosion of production. And I'm like, okay, good. At least they're going to know I'm not wasting time. This is something important that needs to be done. And as soon as I finished, someone texted me,
Man, I gotta take a picture of that one.
and it sounded like I took a picture of my turds. And the CEO left instantly. I've never seen anyone leave the bathroom that quickly. He was like, "Well, definitely don't want to be next to this. Gotta get out of here."
I can't be involved in another scandal involving my poop. I hadn't considered that would sound like you're taking a picture in situations where you wouldn't want to be taking a picture. So, yeah, that's...
I hadn't either until that exact moment, and I'm like, well, time to reevaluate some choices that I've made.
That's for my sake. I really hope you're known now as the guy that likes to take pictures of his poop. You're blogging about it. That's my New Year's resolution. Decided to keep an eye on my poop this year. I'm taking a picture of every one. Cataloging. Look back in February. See? It was really solid. Now it's loosening up. I'm concerned.
Doctor, look at this trend. This isn't a healthy trend, right?
No, it's not. And I think it's for a different reason than you think. The fecal matter looks fine. It's of a fine consistency. I'm more worried about are you taking pictures of your poop? Yes.
It's less weird now that we always have a camera there with us. If you had to do this like in the 90s, you have to take one of those little wind-up cameras, and so if you heard a...
Yeah, you'd be able to hear the click, click as you wind it back. Yeah, there's no secrecy in those things. We know who the perverts are because the cameras are really loud.
I did have a friend who, for 2 years, kept a little notebook in which he would record the time, place, and production of every poop that he did, along with little notes that he could say, like, who he was with or any, like, interesting things he found in there. He called it the log of logs.
I see that there's a purpose to that. It's not one I agree with, and it's not one I want to read about necessarily. But if you're like journaling in some way, there's an interest in that. Again, I don't want to read it. I have no interest in it myself, but I can see where that would come from. If you're just taking pictures of them, then that's it's a journal of a sort, but it's, again, not one I ever want to read. And I can't think of, well, the only people that would want to read a book like that are people I want nothing to do with. So
I don't know, like, there might be 120 years from now, some grad school student is going to be trying to put together a thesis on bowel movements of the early 2000s. And he's going to find this record and he's going to be like, this is amazing. This proves everything. And then they're going to they're going to get a PhD because my friend took copious notes. You got to think about the historical record.
I mean, sure. You can justify any action you take with something like that. Of like, they're going to try and study that 100 years from now, and I bet I'm going to help. Well, right now you're just a pervert and you're a creep, and nobody likes you.
If you're logging your own poops, it's not perverted. It's not creepy. If you're logging other people's, that's creepy.
Yeah, you must be stopped. You're a supervillain if you're doing that.
But if everyone kept track of their own, if we all treated our poops like we treated our meals at a fancy restaurant and just took a picture of it and put it on Instagram, this world would be a far different place.
100% agree. Not in the way you want, but I 100% agree.
This is how we're going to prove that we are not just specks flying through the outer space, that we truly did make an impact on this Earth. 400 miles worth of poop. Americans become more culturally understanding of people around us, it has become very clear that the main character of Street Fighter's name is Ree-ooh, not Rai-ooh. However, if you are 35 or older, you're allowed kind of within the culture to still say Rai-ooh, just because that's what you grew up saying, and it's kind of like a delineation in when you got into Street Fighter. If you got into Street Fighter before, you probably still say Rai-ooh. If you're younger or you got in later, you probably say Ree-ooh. And every time this conversation comes up in a tournament or something that I'm watching, I laugh because we had a huge fight about this when we were kids.
I'll tell you, we did. I was like, I don't remember this fight.
It wasn't.
I don't think I would have cared.
Yes, you and me. Jason and I fought about this over and over. And I'm like, it's Ree-ooh. And you're like, it's right. No, it was with my other dumb friend at the time. We all said Rai-ooh. And he was convinced and could not be dissuaded that this character's name was BYU.
What?
Like the school.
That couldn't be more wrong.
I know.
Like that's just that's indefensible. That's the one where the rest of the friends gang up and they finally join forces. And it's like, okay, well, I disagree with him, but what? You're just stupid. BYU? Like who would name a fighting game character BYU?
This was at the age when we made up our own backstories for the characters because there wasn't anything given in the game. And his theory was that this guy loved Brigham Young University so much that he named his son or his child BYU. And that guy probably got beat up a lot for being called BYU, so he got really good at karate.
Sure. I will say that the Street Fighter 2 animated movie, oh my goodness, I rented that so many times. And I don't think I ever actually owned it. I think maybe I have it now on VHS, which I can't watch. But that was so amazing. But it gave like the backstory, or what they told us was the backstory, and like the lore behind everything. And so, I know that Ree-ooh and Sagat are bitter enemies because they fought in a field one night, and Ree-ooh cut Sagat's chest open with his Shoryuken rising fist, and that's why he has that giant scar and he bled like crazy. And I know that now I can properly get horny about Chun-Li because I've seen her in the shower. Things like that.
Important details.
Yeah. No, that's the one that my mom always walked in on. No, it's cool action. Guys are fighting. Yes. Yeah, there's cartoon boobs. No, that's not why I'm watching this. Yes, here's my hands.
Complying with the hand check, Mom.
Yeah. Street Fighter 2, the animated movie, is the one that taught me about hand checks. Of all things. I've not seen that movie in forever. I bet if I watched it today, I would think differently, but I bet it probably still holds up. I bet you it's pretty cool. Because I just remember that at the height of Street Fighter 2, like probably even between iterations, like it may even before like hyper fighting or something is when that came out. And that was the best. And the fact that my video store actually carried it was just unbelievable.
I remember being at that same age. I saw a review of the movie or an ad for the movie or something, and you had to still order it from Japan at this point, so it was $100. But we knew that Chun-Li's boobs were in it, and so like we talked together. We like all our friends like, how much Street Fighter would we have to not play to save up enough money for us to buy this? We did the math; it wasn't worth it, and we played more Street Fighter.
Steve Shinny 2: The Quest for Chun-Li's Boobs. And I like that now the kids are more into like not seeing her in the shower, but like crush me, mommy, with your ridiculously huge thighs. It's like, it feels like that's a little. It's a little healthier. It's still creepy and weird, but I don't know. Something about seeing her in the shower is like pervy, like ooh, what is he that? And like crush me with your thighs is it's not perversion, I shouldn't say. It's a kink, but it's a different kink. I'm not saying I've graduated to that one either, but I do have a thing for Rhea Ripley, a WWE wrestler she's a mommy and she could crush me with her thighs any day.
Have you been following the Street Fighter 6 announcements at all?
It's some. I don't really know that many of the characters, and especially the ones they announce. It's just like, whoa, we got Jake. It's like, who the hell's Jake? Oh, he's longtime friends with Ken. You don't know? He studied with him at the dojo. Yeah, they were under whatever their master's name was. It's like,
Go.
So yeah, no, that none of it bounces off me.
Okay, the game comes out in I think June, and they released the final character announcement trailer, which included Zangief, which completes the original 8. So we all knew he was coming. You can't have a Street Fighter game without Zangief, except for the one that they did, but that's fine. And then they had a new character named Kimberly, who is, everyone's decided, the daughter of T-Hawk, a character that will no longer be put in games because we don't treat Native Americans that way.
He was really good though when they brought him in as the new version. Oh man, he was one of my favorites.
4, yeah, he had a release where he was really strong in 4. But yeah, him and Fei Long are never coming back for different reasons.
Yeah, that's sure.
And then the third character that they announced was Cammy, who is a classic character. She's become like the second female face of the game. And there is a scene in the trailer where she just kind of stretches, but it's in a way to let you know that Cammy is fit. And every reaction to that trailer, like you watch the commentators, whatever, react to it, and they're like, wait, what just happened? No. Did they? And then you go back, you're like, they did! You can't ever do that. I've got to stop the stream. Hold on a second. Hand check.
Streaming some Street Fighter 5 for the folks. Yeah, check this out. And whoops, that became porn. Sorry. Okay. Good
It's
to know.
not even porn. Like, it's not, it's like the kind of stretch you would see a woman do at the gym. But when you saw that woman do that stretch at the gym, you would take notice, especially if that woman looked like Cammy.
Like you said, they know their audience. They know that Capcom is not terribly up on the, everything's, like you said, they're better now. They do things that have characters that, that they've taken out of the rotation for that reason. But I feel like they still are, they're a Japanese owned company. And so there's still going to be things that are like, kids shouldn't be seeing that. It's just like, it's innocent. Don't you? And how dare you? You're the pervert. It's like, no. You're the pervert. You're just trying to get away with it.
One last quick bit of Street Fighter lore that's my favorite bit ever. You know the elephants in the back of the Indian Dalsum stage?
Mm-hmm.
Canonically, one of those was killed by the boxer. He went to punch Dalsum, and he teleported away, and he punched the elephant, and the elephant died.
Is that like a cartoon, or where did you see this?
It's in the books and like the lore. Like, it's like, if you go back, Balrog or M. Bison, depending on where you're at, punched an elephant and killed it. Street Fighter! That's why I love this crap.
I just love that there's names like that make more sense in Japan. Like M. Bison is Balrog because it's supposed to be Mike Tyson. Mm-hmm. But then M. Bison just became the big bad in Street Fighter because they swapped names. It's like, that's so dumb.
Because they thought Mike Tyson would either sue them or punch them, and they didn't want either of those.
No,
and in the 90s, people would be scared of that. Now, like, I bet you could go to Mike Tyson, like, hey, can we call this dude who is clearly you Mike Bison? He'd be like, yeah, man. You want to see my pigeons?
Talking about Street Fighter, I did not think the best thing we were going to get out of that segment was your impression of Mike Tyson.
It's not a very good one, I admit.
No, it's not. It's Michael Jackson. You're getting it wrong. The problematic black celebrity is wrong. Mixed up. You got the lisp. You got to do the lisp, and then you got the Michael Jackson. Or Mike Tyson.
See, it's confusing.
Yeah, it is. I admit.
Thank you for sticking with us for another episode of Then You Ruined It. You can find more of our nonsense on Twitter. I am at Idahobo, and Jason is at the Jason Sigler. We also do a webcomics review podcast called Digital Strips. Find us wherever you get your podcasts.